I'm Craig Grant and this is Cobweb Maths, where we do things differently. I'm going to tell you about Gus. Now, Gus owned a wheat farm and he was out on the veranda early one morning drinking a cup of coffee and the combine harvested his bean and harvested all the wheat, and he had two silos and they're absolutely both full of wheat. And he started to think about this because he had three fields and he'd taken all the wheat from one field and put it in one silo, and all the wheat from the other two fields and put it in the other silo. And both silos were full. And that meant the amount of wheat that came off the smaller fields was equal to the larger field. And that puzzled him a wee bit. So he decided to see if he could figure out what was going on. So he drew a map of his property. I'll show you the map, and we'll talk about the conclusion that Gus came to. Now, Gus wasn't all that good at maths, but he knew that area was squares. So what he did was he took here's his farm here. It's got three fields, here, here and here, and the middle of his farm is a right angled triangle, which is 5 kilometres there, 4 kilometres there and 3 kilometres there, so it's a pretty big farm. And where the right angle is that's his house. Now, all the wheat from these two paddocks here came into the silo there, and all the wheat off here came into that silo over there. Now, what he did is he counted the squares. So he found there was 16 squares there, 9 squares there and 25 squares there. And then he had a look at it. And it didn't take him long to figure out what was going on. You have a look at it. Can you see what's going on? How are 9, 16 and 25 related? Well, if you add 9 and 16 you get 25. And that meant that the area of these two small fields was equal to the area of the big wheat field. And what Gus discovered was up here. There it is. The Pythagoras relationship. And basically it's short squared plus short squared equals long squared. If you have a right angle triangle, the square off the short side plus the square off the other short side, when you add them together, is equal to the square off the long side. And this is what we use to find the third side of a right angle triangle. And I'm going to show you a foolproof method for doing that next. Now I'm going to show you how to use the Pythagoras relationship. First thing you do is draw the diagram. Here's the diagram here. The next step is you write down short squared plus short squared equals long squared, and you can write it this way: s squared plus s squared equals l squared. Now, here is the critical step. Circle the long side, and you're going to put the long side there, on that side. Now, as long as you get the long side in the right place, everything will be fine. So, and the other thing you do is don't use squares, use multiplication signs. That will eliminate another error, because sometimes people, if they work out 6 squared, they think it's 2 times 6 was 12. But if you rewrite it as 6 times 6, then you'll get the correct answer, which is 36. So 1 squared is going to be 1 times 1. And 2 squared is going to be 2 times 2, and that's going to be x times x, and I put a dot there instead of a multiplication sign, so we don't get confused between the x's and the multiplication signs. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, is equal to x squared, that's 5. Swap it round, x squared is 5, so x will be equal to the square root of 5. And that's as far as I need you to go in this session. However, if you've got a calculator, you can write down the answer, which will be x is equal to 2.236 to 3 decimal places. Now, you're going to do 10 questions. And there's a pattern to the questions. I'll show you the question pattern first. Let's get that about right. I hope that's about right. Yeah. Now, first question. See, question number 1, that's 1 and that's 2 and that's x. Question number 2, that's 2 and that's 3 and that's x. Question number 3, that's 3 and that's 1 more to 4 and that's x. Question number 4, that's 4 and that's 5 and that's x. And you keep going to question number 10 where that's 10, that's 11 and that's x. Now you need to do all 10 questions. You'll probably get to question 5 or 6 and you'll think that you're doing really well and you know it. And you are. However, you need to do the rest of them so you remember. So once you've got it, you've got to do the extra questions so you remember. Alright, now we'll go through this. Short squared plus short squared equals long squared. That's the first thing you write down. You'll have already drawn the you'll have drawn the diagram. That's the first step. Draw the diagram. Write down short squared plus short squared equals long squared. Then circle the long side, and you're going to put it in there. And these two sides will go there, go there, and there. So you've got 2 times 2 plus 3 times 3 equals x times x. That'll give you 4 plus 9 is x squared. 13 equals x squared. And you could just jump straight down to x is equal to the square root of 13 if you like. And if you look at that on a calculator, you just press the square root button, punch in 13, press equals, and it'll come out to 3 point, well, it's not exactly that on the calculator, but if you round it, it's 3.606. Here's question 3. We draw the diagram first. You write down short squared plus short squared equals long squared. You circle the long side. We substitute in the long side first, which is x dot x, which means x times x. We write short squared as 3 times 3 and 4 times 4, so we don't make a mistake. 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, 9 and 16 are 25, so x squared is 25. X is the square root of 25, which is 5. Now, you need to carry on and do the other 7 questions. Question number 4 will be have short sides of 4 and 5. Question number 5 will have short sides of 5 and 6, and so on. Now, you need to pause your video. But here are the answers. So just pause your video, go and work through the questions and then check it with your answers, or you could take a copy of the answers, switch the video off, do the questions and then mark them. Good luck.